All right, y'all, what's going on? It's Combo Breaker 99 back with another quick post-fight discussion video. All right, y'all, LFA 177. It's been a while since I've done a post-fight discussion for an LFA fight. You know, I'm usually doing those because I want to talk about some of these up-and-coming flyweights, the straw weights for WMMA. You know, girls making that transition, that want to make that transition to the UFC. It feels like it's been a minute since I've done a, LFA breakdown here, but yeah, I had to on this one, man, because I called this fight the other day on a live, and yeah, I had to call this one, man, because this turned out to be a good fight. You know, this one turned out to be a good matchup, y'all, and y'all got to check this one out. I got my eye on Shannon Clark, seeing where she's going from here. You know, what she's working with. Not saying she's ready for the UFC yet, but on the level she's on, you know, she's looking like a beast, man. So definitely check this fight out. Shannon Clark versus Thaiany Lopes. Real quick, man, Shannon Clark gets her first submission win with a vicious bulldog choke over Thaiany Lopes in the second round to win that flyweight title for LFA. You know, Clark, she showed a pretty good arsenal on her that made her look unstoppable in this fight. I mean, for real, like, of course, you know, it's still early to tell where she's going to go from here, but seeing Clark use her hands and just make quick scrambles and use good forward pressure and just mix it up on Thaiany Lopes showed me that, look, we have someone to watch out for, you know, for real. Lopes, she actually came in as the black belt, you know, with more submission wins. I believe she was, 5-0, and she submitted like 3 of her opponents. So she was the one that I thought was the submission threat. But Clark, she came in, used that wrestling and strength. Like I always say, you know, if you're able to use like wrestling and physical strength, you can counter somebody's BJJ. You can counter that BJJ with that quick scramble, quick athleticism like Shannon Clark had. You know, so she was able to use that, kind of bully Thaiany Lopes and just take away any ground threat from her and just control her throughout this fight. And I mean, from the back to the front, you know, she was just all around physical and landing hands and knees at the same time, just breaking down the younger fighter. So I was impressed. You know, I was impressed with what she was able to do to Thaiany Lopes. The first round, Clark, she started with some nice pressure, just, you know, early pressure, backing up Lopes, striking her way into a clinch. Like I always say, you know, if you're a ground fighter and you want to get those takedowns, you gotta strike your way in. You know, you got to find that way to kind of strike your way into the inside and just you know, land good crisp punches that way. You know, you can't have a raggedy stand-up game. So, yeah, she was able to strike her way in and just welcome the fight to the ground. Lopes, you know, she wanted that body lock, try to utilize her BJJ, but Clark, really strong, man, just landed some nice shots to the face on the inside and just some good knees to the body and just going to the head. You know, just that strength difference. That strength difference is what really made it hard for Thaiany Lopes to get anything going. And you could see she was getting ragdolled in there, and she was just really getting honed in that first round on the inside. Lopes, she was able to take the fight to the ground, but Clark, I was impressed, man, with the work off of her back, man. Like, she was landing some nice strikes and just giving Lopes fits. Like, Lopes was on top, but she was just, like, scrambling everywhere, trying to see where she could go from half guard to side control, but she couldn't because Clark was just so busy, you know, hitting her in the face with everything she had, you know, hitting her in the face, hitting her in the body. She just was all over with these elbows, all on her back. You know, she was just really active off of her back. And when she got back to her feet, you know, she landed some hard elbows to the body just on Lopes's on back, you know, not giving her any leverage to get anything done. So, yeah, big strength difference there. You know, that's really what it was, that strength difference and the striking. You know, the striking offense. Shannon Clark was just always busy, you know, just letting something go, you know, just letting a lot of work go. The second round, though, Clark, she had no respect at this point. You know, she just ran straight in, snapped Lopes's head back with like several right hands, forcing Lopes to the ground again. But Clark, again, off of her back, very much in control, you know, easily scrambled back up to get Lopes's back. And she started landing some heavy knees to the rib cage, you know, heavy knees to the body, till finally, you know, that good body work just paid off, and she was able to open up a headlock. When she just broke that body down, she finally went up top, locked in that headlock, and then just stretched out Thaiany Lopes's body into a bulldog choke. And I mean, when she was choking, that was scary because it looked like the girl's head was going to snap. The way she had that position, like near the cage, she was just twisting that head back, and she fully extended her. I thought the ref was going to stop it at some point because there came a point where Thaiany Lopes stopped trying to, you know, hand fight at this point. And when she was stretched out like that, I was like, okay, you can stop this thing. But he let it go on for like a few more seconds till finally when he stopped it, she just dropped and it looked like she was unconscious. I mean, that was a vicious bulldog choke. And I mean, most of y'all already seen it. Like, these chokes are vicious. That's why I was like, maybe the ref should have stopped it before it got that serious. But yeah, Shannon Clark, bulldog choke, second round, very first submission win. Very first submission win too. That was one reason it was very impressive to me. I was just like, wow, submitted the girl that's a black belt in her very first submission. That was impressive. Kind of like GDR versus Pena, right? But yeah, shout out to Shannon Clark. She got the LFA flyweight title fight, flyweight belt. And moving forward from here, yeah, like I said, she's looking like a threat, on this level. She's now 5-0. From here, I like to see Shannon Clark defend her belt a few more times. Maybe, like I said, go over to like Invicta FC or maybe even PFL. She's only 31 years old. I think that, maybe in a couple of years, she'd be UFC material. But at the moment, maybe defend the belt here for a year, then go over to PFL, get a contract over there and fight that level of competition. And if she can make it through like a Liz Carmouche or Tyler Santos or Jennifer Maia, if they ever go to the PFL, then she could come over to the UFC, right? Or who knows, they might try to put her in the Contender Series next from here. I know Dana White's watching. He's always looking for that next it factor. But I think the way Shannon Clark is moving, she's definitely looking like a beast that could add a little bit more to her arsenal. And, you'll see her in the UFC maybe in a couple years. Well, by my standard, I would say give her about a year or two. But, the way Dana White and the matchmakers move, they might try to snatch her up soon. But, yeah. As for Thaiany Lopes, shout out to the girl. This was a humbling experience. She's only 23 years old. She'll bounce back from this. I think she just needs to really work on building up her physical strength. In her early 20s, maybe she wasn't expecting this type of game plan. She's never felt this type of strength before. So I think she just needs to kind of work on, her boxing a little bit, her angles, and, physical strength. She just needs to tackle on a little bit more muscle, work on things like that. But yeah, definitely, guys, this was a good fight. I was glad I jumped on and called this one. I'm definitely going to get back into calling more LFA fights and doing more post fights on these to kind of give y'all an eye out on some talent to watch. But yeah, definitely check out Shannon Clark. This victory right here was very impressive. And yeah, this was a submission for the books, guys. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.